Hello everybody, welcome to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Tonight we are getting ready for the All-Star Showdown race. So 23 drivers enter this race, getting ready to do battle. 7 drivers will advance to the Saturday night's All-Star race. So, how is this race going to be run? Let's show you the setup for this race. So, we have 3 segments. Segment 1 and 2 are 20 laps each. The top 3 drivers that finish first through third in both segment 1 and 2, they will advance to the final race, which is on Saturday. The winner of the last segment tonight will also join those 6 drivers. The final segment tonight in the Showdown race is 10 laps. Caution laps do count on segments 1 and 2 in this race. However, we will not end a race under caution. So if there's a caution late in either one of the first 2 segments, and it were to go into the last lap and end the race, we would basically have to exit the race and take all of the running cars that are still in the race and basically set them up for a green-white checkered finish. It would be 2 laps, so it would be a green-white or a green flag, white flag, and a checkered. Top 3 then would go on to the next race. Any driver that is out of the race due to a crash or mechanical failure, before we would have to do a green-white checkered finish, they would not be a part of the restart. So, any driver that is damaged as well, if there's a driver that's damaged in segment 1 or 2, and they're still able to run at the end of the race, they will be going to a backup car. They'll get their car fixed. So what we're doing with the backup cars, I'm going to lower the car ratings just a little bit if you have a backup car for the next segment, but it shouldn't take you out of contention. But with no practice time on the backup cars, I feel like that should be a fairly even race, I guess. It'll still get you a chance to be in the race. If we have a car that's a lap down going into segment 2 or even into the final segment, then that car will get the lucky dog. They'll be back on the lead lap. So it should be interesting. The final segment tonight, the 10-lap segment, only green flag laps count. So if we have a caution on lap, let's say 3 out of 10, that means there's 7 laps to go. We'll basically take the running order, we'll save it, and we'll go back and restart the race with 7 laps to go, meaning that the final segment will be double file restarts if we have a caution. So with all of that said, let's get started. So the 11 Alejandro Rodriguez and the 51 Jeremiah Dwayne, they are on the front row. Bean Weeby, the 18, he starts third. Beside him is the 95 Tavis Aiken. You have the 37 Alvin Jones, last week's winner at Michigan. The 9 of Brendan Hancock, won at Darlington 2 weeks ago. You have the 3 of Tim Hoffman, the 24 Stephen Pollard III. He was involved in a very hard crash last week. He is okay. That's great to see. The 77 Steve Pollard, he had a great run going until he was involved in a crash. The 88 Muhammad Abdullah beside him. 13 of Matt Riddle. The 54 Evan McCollum was also involved in that crash with the 77 car. The 10 of Pablo West. The 19 Dylan Eberheimen. The 31 Lindsey Hancock. The 53 of Logan York. The 4 of Zach Cronin. The 8 of Ron Jackson. 52 of Robert Pollard. The 81 of Skylar Rocha. I got the 21 of Sahara Rocha. We'll wait until the command starts. Alright. So the points leader last season, the points winner, she is not in the All-Star race. She did not get a pole. She starts deep in the field. 00 of Alex Alves and the 22 Nancy Pryor. So 23 drivers. 3 drivers will advance from this stage, 20 laps. 3 drivers will advance from stage number 2, which is also 20 laps. And then the winner of the final stage will advance. So this coming Friday is the truck race. That's 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Saturday is the All-Star race, and that is also at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Should be a fun week of racing. Hopefully everybody here is excited and ready to watch these cars race for 20 laps. Altogether 50 laps of racing tonight, but broken down into different stages, into segments. So we'll see which top 3 drivers can make it to the All-Star race. Got the 11 of Alejandro Rodriguez on the pole. Jeremiah Dwayne right beside him. Pace cars down on pit road. And we are underway here at Charlotte. The Showdown race starts. Alejandro Rodriguez leads the field down to the green flag, and he gets a great start. Jeremiah Dwayne, he fell back already to third, now probably fourth. Bean Weeby up to second. Now he is looking for the lead. Here comes the 18 car underneath Alejandro Rodriguez. Oh, there's almost a crash. Zach Cronin on the bottom of the track. He's going to merge back up. I think everyone's going to be all right. Already some contact. I think that might have been Robert Pollard that got into Zach. You see Robert and Sahara now making a little bit of contact. Up front, Bean Weeby, he is going to lead lap number 1. Already some drama and some action happening here. Deep in the field, 3 wide for second. Bean Weeby is loving this. He wants these cars to wreck behind him. Eliminate some of the competition and possibly improve his chance to make it to the final, or make it to the end of this race. Look back here. Matt Riddle almost got turned by Pablo West. 3 wide off of turn 4. It's a little dicey back here. Alvin Jones takes second place away from Alejandro Rodriguez. They're 3 wide. Looks like the inside lines in turns 1 and 2 is just a little bit better than the top line. Looks like maybe the top line in 3 and 4 is a little bit better. They're able to hold on, get a decent run off the turn, but they can't do anything with it in turns 1 and 2. Lindsey Hancock now almost gets turned around by Logan. Oh, Logan came up the track and hit Skylar Rocha. Cars are making a lot of contact with each other. They are bouncing off of each other left and right. Logan on the back bumper of the 31, Lindsey Hancock. There's a battle for the lead up front. Tim Hoffman trying to take the lead away from Bean Weeby. Action everywhere on the track. Tim trying to get a run off the turn. Bean, I think, is going to get a decent run, and I think he's going to be able to hold the lead. He led that lap. See if he can hold Tim off in turns 1 and 2. We're seeing early on that this high line not that good in turns 1 and 2. Bean Weeby will lose the lead. Tim Hoffman now trying to fight off Tavis Haken in that 95. Bean's still holding on the outside. He isn't going to be able to get the lead, but he might be able to get past Tavis. It's a battle, a drag race down the front stretch. Now Alvin Jones going to go down low. He's going to try to make it 3 wide with Bean Weeby and Tavis Haken. Bean Weeby now going to let off and let these cars race. Closing in on the halfway point of segment number 1. Tim Hoffman, Alvin Jones, first and second. Brendan Hancock now, he has made his way up to the front. He is now in 3rd place. He has that final transfer spot. Back here, you see Ron Jackson, Dylan Eberheim, and Zach Cronin. They're falling back. Sahara Rocha, Skylar Rocha, they haven't really been able to do anything yet. Up front, we've got 3 wide for second, almost. Muhammad Abdullah did not get a good run into turn 3, and he falls back a little bit. Tim Hoffman out front. Brendan Hancock second. Alvin Jones third. Here comes Muhammad Abdullah now on the inside of Alvin Jones. He's going to get past him. Now battle for the lead. Brendan Hancock out front. That race at Darlington seems to have changed Brendan's season around a little bit. He has been doing pretty well. Had some really good finishes and good runs since Darlington. He was involved in that one of the huge crashes last week at Michigan, but was able to rally back for a top 10 spot at the end of that race. So great run from him after that massive crash. Now Muhammad Abdullah, the 88, he is out front. Ooh, with Tavis Haken into the side of Matt Riddle. Everyone, though, seems to be kind of kind of calm right now. We're seeing some aggressive racing, but everyone's kind of giving each other some room up to a certain point. Muhammad Abdullah out front. You see a battle for second now. 13 of Matt Riddle trying to get past Stephen Pollard the third. Behind them, 3 wide, Tavis Haken, Brendan Hancock, Evan McCollum, Logan York trying to make a move now. Logan York going to the front, trying to at least. Now here comes Alvin Jones. He fell back. He is coming back up. Bean Weeby's still on the outside line. He hasn't fallen back too far. Some 3 wide, almost 4 wide back here. Car's getting more aggressive as this race is ending. Alex Alves and Bean Weeby now 4 wide off at the turn. Just for a split second, Ron Jackson though had to back off a little bit. That top line got a great run off the turn. Logan York trying to make his way through the middle. Ron Jackson, he's working his way towards the front. The 88, Muhammad Abdullah, still leading this race. Evan McCollum trying to get a good run off the turn. Tavis Haken has brought himself back into second. Third is Stephen Pollard the third. Battle for fourth now. Matt Riddle and Nancy Pryor battling with each other. Now there's a battle for second up here. Stephen Pollard trying to get past Tavis Haken. In the back, there's some really aggressive racing. They still have not wrecked. I'm surprised they haven't wrecked. Bean Weeby trying to hold off all of these cars back here. He is running in 8th place right now. Alvin Jones at 37. He was up in the top 3 not too long ago. Now he is back outside of the top 10 at this point. Two and 3 wide racing further back in the field here. Up front, top 3 cars trying to break away. Nancy Pryor, that 22, she is in third, trying to break away from Tavis Haken. Here comes the 52 now. Robert Pollard trying to get past Tavis for fourth. He wants to try to make it into the All-Star race. Haven't really talked about him at all this season. He's been in quite a few wrecks. But that driver right now in 4th place. Here comes the 9 of Brendan Hancock yet again. He's in 6th place trying to get past Tavis Haken. Up front, the top 3 drivers, they are pulling away. See Robert Pollard on the inside. He is trying to catch him. 5 laps to go, this time by 4 laps to go. In the back, the 77, Steve Pollard, he is fallen back. Single file now, almost from first to last. First segment got off kind of rocky for some of these drivers. A lot of bumping and banging early in the race, and then it's kind of calmed down. I think the first 2 segments are probably going to be pretty calm. Everyone's just going to try to work their way to the front, but I think the final segment is going to be crazy. See Logan York trying to work his way towards the front. Matt Riddle and Tim Hoffman right behind him. Top 3 drivers, though, they have separated themselves from Robert Pollard. Nancy Pryor now trying to get past Stephen Pollard. This could slow these 2 cars down. Muhammad Abdullah has been out front for a good portion of this race. He's trying to win the race. Nancy Pryor now in 2nd place, trying to get further up in this position. She does not want to have any heat from anybody behind her. Now Stephen Pollard stuck on the outside. Tavis Haken is right behind him. 2 laps to go. What is going to happen? Tavis Haken is up to the 3rd place car. Can Stephen Pollard hold on to 3rd? Will it be Tavis Haken or somebody else? See Tavis getting a good run off of turn 2. Stephen Pollard going to try to hold him off in the turn. The 52 Robert Pollard falling back. Here's Bean Weeby now up here. Tavis Haken got a pretty good jump off of turn 4. White flag in the air. Muhammad Abdullah out front. Nancy Pryor right behind him. Tavis Haken does take the 3rd place away. Look at this battle for the lead here. up at the front of the field. Battle for the lead. Nancy Pryor going to get past Muhammad Abdullah. But here comes Muhammad back on the outside. Muhammad Abdullah wants to win the segment. Will he get the win? Tavis Aiken third. Fourth place, Bean Weeby. The battle is up front. It is going to be Nancy Pryor. Nancy Pryor will win the segment. Muhammad Abdullah so close to winning. And Tavis Aiken gets that third and final transfer spot. Bean Weeby unfortunately could not get past him. So segment number 1 is done. In the books, Nancy Pryor, Muhammad Abdullah, Tavis Aiken, they advance to the All-Star race this Saturday night. Oh, there's a mad dash getting on pit road. Bean Weeby is involved. And Alvin Jones also. Well, they didn't wreck in segment 1, but they did wreck coming on pit road. I don't think that was any significant damage. Let's show you again. Logan hits him, and then Alvin gets stacked up with Steve Pollard, Pablo West, Dylan Eberheim. Doesn't look like anybody has really any major damage. I think that should be fixable for all these teams, so should be all right. You see the top 3 drivers here. They will advance to the All-Star race this Saturday night. Bean Weeby just a little bit short. He's going to have 2 more chances to try to make it into this main race. So in the meantime, we're going to go and get the second segment ready for you guys. So we will be right back. Don't go anybody. Welcome back to Charlotte. We are now ready for the second segment. So the top 3 drivers, Nancy Pryor, Muhammad Abdullah, Tavis Aiken, they all transfer to the All-Star race this Saturday night. So those 3 drivers are not in this field now. We have 20 drivers left trying to fill 4 more positions. So it should be a pretty wild race. Let's get ready for segment number 2. See Brendan Hancock. He is starting out front now. Skylar Rocha second. Alejandro Rodriguez, Zach Cronin, Sahara Rocha, Evan McCollum, Pablo West, Steve Pollard, Alex Alves, 52 of Robert Pollard, the 8 of Ron Jackson, the 13 Matt Riddle, 51 Jeremiah Dwayne, the 37 Alvin Jones, the 19 Dylan Eberheim, the 24 Stephen Pollard III, the 53 Logan York, the 31 Lindsey Hancock, the 3 of Tim Hoffman, and the 18 Bean Weeby. Now this was just a random starting order. Bean Weeby, that 18, starts last. He finished in 4th on the last segment. He could have possibly won the race. Did not work out for him. Unfortunate. So getting ready now for segment number 2, another 20-lap race. The next segment is a 10-lap shootout. Green flag laps only. In this segment, just like the first segment, caution laps do count. We did not have a caution in the first segment. It was a rather quick race. A lot of great racing, but the intensity is going to pick up as we get closer to the end of this race and the end of this whole event. 4 more drivers going to advance to the All-Star race this Saturday night. Who is going to get in from this segment? Nobody is out of the race yet as far as a crash or mechanical failure. So we'll see, can we go caution-free in this segment? I believe the first segment is the only race so far this season in the Cup Series that has went caution-free from the beginning to the end. We have not had a race that has went green flag. But we do have the rule in place for the normal points races. If we get to the halfway point, caution will be thrown out. If there is no cautions to that point, but we've had a lot of cautions, a lot of crashes. And in the meantime, segment number 2 is going to begin. Brendan Hancock, the number 9, the 81 Skylar Rocha on the front row. Brendan is going to lead the field to the green flag here at the start of segment number 2. They got a dead even start. Skylar trying to get a head start, trying to get ahead of the 9 of Brendan Hancock, but that outside line has not been good yet tonight. I don't think he's going to be able to do that. You see Skyler, he is right with the 11 of Alejandro Rodriguez. Side by side, Brendan, though, he will go up top and try to block. Here comes the 11 of Alejandro Rodriguez, though, on the inside. They're still too wide. Brendan on the outside, trying to get clear of the 81 and the 11. He is clear of the 81, but now he is trying to get clear of the 11 of Alejandro Rodriguez. Still side by side, the 21 Sahara Rocha now up to second, trying to battle for the lead here. 3 wide behind these cars. Brendan Hancock led that first lap. He is falling back. You see 3, almost 4 wide back here. Zach Cronin, number 4, he is up top. Oh, a big crash, possibly. Brendan Hancock spins the 11 of Alejandro Rodriguez. Bean Weeby's gets her past that, I think. So many cars involved. Sahara Rocha was involved. Jeremiah Dwayne. You see Skylar Rocha, he took a hard hit. Same with the 11. The 21 is definitely going to be out of the race. Huge crash early on. Brendan Hancock, he spun the 11 of Alejandro. That spun Skylar out. Collected Sahara. Brendan Hancock is going to be the race leader. Holy moly. Well, the first crash, I did not think we would see it this early on, or even in this segment. Jeremiah Dwayne, he's got some pretty significant damage. Bean Weeby, possibly the biggest gainer out of that wreck. He does not have any damage, but he is, I think, up in the top 5, possibly. Oh, no, he's not. He's pretty far back still, but he missed that crash. Jeremiah Dwayne not coming down pit road. See Sahara Rocha, her car is demolished, and she will not make it to the end of this segment. I highly doubt if she can get back in the race. That is going to be surprising. Well, let's go back and show you what happened. I mean, we pretty much saw it. We were riding with the front drivers there. Show you this view here. Alejandro just went up a little too high. Brendan clipped Alejandro, and hard hit for Sahara, hard hit for Alejandro and Skyler. Sahara had some pretty hard hits as well, but wow. Skyler Rocha, unfortunate. Watch some more views of this crash. Just a hard right for Sahara. Alejandro, Skyler. You see Zach Cronin and multiple other drivers. The 51, the 3, they got some damage in that crash. Let's ride on board with Alejandro. Ride on board with a couple of the cars involved in the crash, and then a few other drivers too, just to see what they saw. Actually, let's start out with the 21 Sahara Rocha. Leading this race, she had no idea there was a crash happening. Pretty hard hit there. Stephen Pollard, I think, made it by without any damage. Trying to get through all of these replays as best as we can. Riding on board now with Alejandro Rodriguez. Crash at the front of the field, that is never a good thing. See that? That was a hard hit. Go back and show you some more onboard views. Right on board with the 81, Skylar Rocha. So both Rochas are in this wreck, and I believe both of them are out of the race. Hard hit for Skylar. Let's ride on board now with the 18 of Bean Weeby. He was on the inside line. He got lucky from this crash. Bean Weeby was really hoping somebody could take out the 21 of Sahara Rocha, and he got his wish. He was able to make it by without any damage. Just see where the alright. Pace lights are not off on the pace car, so we can watch a few more views. Let's watch from the 24 of Stephen Pollard. He did get some damage in this crash. Ooh, he hit Skylar, and someone hit Steven from behind. Right on board now with the 51, Jeremiah Dwayne. He did not get involved in this part of the crash. Oh, yeah, he did. Actually, that's how he was involved. He hit, I believe that was Robert Pollard. Tim Hoffman had nowhere to go. Man. Well, the pace lights are off on the pace car. We would look at more replays, but we got to get back to the race. So 3 cars out of the race. That is Sahara Rocha, Alejandro Rodriguez, and Skylar Rocha. We're not going to have a lot of cars in the final segment. So Skylar Rocha, Alejandro Rodriguez, unfortunately not going to make it to the final segment or to the All-Star race. The points winner from last season, she will not make it either. Brendan Hancock, the number 9. Well, he caused that crash, started on the pole, and now here he is back out front. Pablo West behind him. Steve Pollard, the 77, right behind him as well. So let's see how this race shakes out now. Green flag back in the air. 17 drivers left. We're not even at the halfway point yet. Green flag back in the air. Jeremiah Dwayne, the 51, did not come down pit road to repair his damage, so we'll have to monitor him and see how his car is. See a battle for the lead up front. Pablo West taking the lead away from Brendan Hancock. So far, it looks like everybody is up to speed. Remember, all of these drivers can get a backup car as long as their car is still running. That'll allow the teams to repair any damages for next week's Coca-Cola 600. But if you have a wrecked race car, you do not want to take your backup car in this race. So that's why we're not doing that. But if you at least finish the segment, you have a shot at winning the next one. There's some racing further on in the back. You see the 00 now out front, possibly trying to get past Pablo West, trying to take the lead away. Steve Pollard, Dylan Eberheimen right behind them. Oh, Pablo West now gets spun around. They both hit the wall. I think Pablo... Oh, being Weeby involved. And the caution should be out. Well, the caution flag is out, so we have to throw that manually. Well, it's not out, but now it is. Meanwhile, 3 wide, battle for the lead. Brendan Hancock trying to take the lead away. Logan York and Dylan Eberheimen fighting for the lead. So again, a crash off of turn number 4. Bean Weeby doesn't look like he has a lot of damage. The 52 Robert Pollard, same thing. As long as they can finish this race, they will make it to the to the final segment. They'll be able to repair their car, but it's going to be really hard to win that race with just one driver transferring. So the 19 Dylan Eberheimen was the leader at the line. Logan York passed him, but Dylan Eberheimen, the 19, is actually the race leader. See if anybody decides to come down and repair their cars. No one's coming down yet. The 18 Bean Weeby possibly? No one's coming down. That's kind of weird. I thought we would see some cars repair their damage, but everyone, I guess, is confident in their car. Want to stay out and try to make something happen. Actually, that was not the 52 of Robert Pollard. Oh, I'm sorry. That actually was Pablo West. I think Pablo West is out of the race. I didn't see him on the track. Let's go ahead and show you again. Off of turn 4. The second car on the outside line turns the leader of that line. Pablo had nowhere to go. Ooh, Bean almost made it through as well. Almost made it through. Couldn't quite clear Pablo West, and he was involved. See another view here. Racing really hard at the front of the field. That could have been a huge crash. Pablo was able to kind of hold it. Ooh, until that happened. I think Bean might have given him the final blow to his car. Beanweeby was 3 wide back here. So he really had nowhere to go once this wreck started. He could not go down low. You see crash happening. Almost made it past. He doesn't have a lot of damage. I think Bean will be okay. Oops. Sorry. Pushed the wrong button a few times. Was wondering why nothing was happening. So pace lights are still on the pace car. This has been a crazy segment. Right now, if we don't have another crash and we can finish this race under green, we will have 13 drivers in the final segment. So it is going to be a mad dash to the finish. Right now, Dylan Eberheimen, Logan York, and Steve Pollard are the 3 drivers that are transferring to the All-Star race this Saturday. The 9 of Brendan Hancock, he has been fast and very aggressive. Have to see if he can make his way back into the top 3. So it looks like we might have about 6 or 7 laps left in segment number 2. Segment number 2 is quite an interesting and crazy race. We went caution-free during the first segment, and this segment has been anything but caution-free. We've had a lot of caution laps so far. Look at some of the cars back here. The 18, he was involved in that crash. The 31, the 24, they were involved in the first crash. Same with the 3 and the 51. Pablo West, the 10, he was involved in that last caution, but he is out of the race. Beanweeby is at least in the race still, so he has a shot. Unfortunately, though, Pablo West, Sahara Rocha, Alejandro Rodriguez, and Skylar Rocha will not be in the final segment. Their nights are done. They are out of the race. So, I don't know. With this race closing in, you kind of don't want to be in the top 3 unless everybody behind you is going to race really hard and aggressive. We've seen the crashes happen up near the front of the field. So, there's really no safe place to be right now. The aero package with these cars is crazy. You get such a huge draft, and you can get a pretty good run off of the turn. So who is going to be the top 3 after this segment? Will we have another crash, or will we stay green flag? It'd be nice to see a green flag finish. We saw almost a last lap. Well, we did see a last lap pass on the first segment, and then we almost saw a second last lap pass in turns 3 and 4, but Muhammad Abdullah finished second to Nancy Pryor. They are all glad they're not in this segment. Dylan Eberheimen, the 19... well, he is going to lead the field back to the green flag. Green flag is 7 more laps to go in this segment. See Brendan Hancock and Steve Pollard making moves already. Steve going to go down low, going to try to get past Logan York. And maybe even past the 19 of Dylan Eberheimen. Here comes the 9 of Brendan Hancock as well. He is making his way towards the front. Beanweeby slow on the back stretch. Will we see a repeat of what happened in the first 2 cautions? They're a little further apart. Oh, Logan into the 19, but the 19 is going to save it. Oh, he goes up and hits Logan York. Dylan Eberheimen not happy with that move. He went up and hit the side of the 53. Somehow they did not crash. And now the top 3 drivers are pulling away from the pack. Brendan Hancock back out front. He got the lead from Steve Pollard. Top 3. Brendan Hancock, Steve Pollard, and Logan York pulling away. They are racing very aggressive back here. The 19, Dylan Eberheimen, he is trying to catch the 53. I don't think he is happy with him at all. I don't know how he saved that car. 5 laps to go. Now the 37, Alvin Jones, trying to get past the 19, Dylan Eberheimen. They're really aggressive back here in the back of the field, middle of the field. 2 and 3 wide back here. Brendan Hancock pulling away. Logan York trying to get second place now from Steve Pollard. Almost 4 wide back here. Look at the 24, Stephen Pollard the third. He is up in 5th place with damage. The 18, Bean Weeby, he is off the pace, but he'll finish on the lead lap. And that means he can go to a backup car. And he will have a fast car for the final segment. Battle for the lead. Logan York now past the 9 of Brendan Hancock. 77, Steve Pollard, and the 24, Stephen Pollard. They are right there in 3rd and 4th. Stephen has damage from the first crash. He's trying to get past Brendan Hancock now. Some of the damaged cars are further back and not really in contention. This time by 2 to go. Brendan Hancock now falls back to 4th. Can he get a run off of the turn? He is flying through turns 3 and 4. Alvin Jones there in the 37. He's trying to attack. I think Stephen Pollard had that position that time by. No, it was Brendan Hancock. Brendan, though, going to fall back. Top line in turns 1 and 2. Not fast. Look at the 24. If he wins this race, he was involved in the first crash. That would be amazing. 13 of Matt Riddle. He is making his way towards the front. Steve Pollard now falling back to 4th. This time by white flag in the air. The 53 Logan York has not had a great season, but he is the leader in the final segment, or the final lap of segment number 2. Alvin Jones now pushing the 24 Stephen Pollard out of the way. Alvin Jones up to 2nd. He won last week at Michigan. He's going to try to get underneath of Logan York on the final turn. Now Stephen Pollard falling back to 4th. Matt Riddle up to 3rd. Matt Riddle going to try to hold off the 24. Alvin Jones not able to get the position. Look at this, 3 wide. Stephen Pollard and Lindsey Hancock make some contact. And Lindsey going to merge up the track. She's going to hit the 77. Are they going to wreck? Oh, Lindsey Hancock, Tim Hoffman, Alex Alves. Huge crash. Bean Weeby get past it. And he does. Meanwhile, all of that happening. And Logan York, Alvin Jones, and Matt Riddle are the top 3 in segment number 2. So Logan York winning this segment. It's not a points race, but it definitely counts. A crazy end to this segment, that is for sure. Logan York, Alvin Jones, and Matt Riddle, they advance to the Allstar race. Tim Hoffman, a lot of damage on that car. You see Lindsey Hancock as well. She was almost turned at the end of that race. Alex Alves, they all 3 continue. Their cars are moving. Tim's not moving that fast, but their cars are moving, so they'll be able to go to a backup car, and they will make it into the final segment. Let's go back and show you what happened to Lindsey at the end of this race. I mean, they were racing aggressively here. You see the 13 Matt Riddle, 3rd car in line. He was the final transfer spot. Steve Pollard pushed Lindsey down. Lindsey came up the track, hit Steve. They saved it. Lindsey's still on the apron, hits the 77, and Tim Hoffman, Alex Alves, they had nowhere to go. Unfortunate. That was a huge crash. But they're going to go to a backup car. They'll make it into the final segment. Same with Bean Weeby and some of the other damaged cars. Watch again the crash. How Lindsey saved it through the tri-oval, I have no idea. And then here again, they all saved it, including Brendan Hancock. But right here, that was the blow that did it. Go ahead. I want to watch this wreck from Tim Hoffman's view. This whole last turn, that was crazy. Everything looks normal up at the front, but then off the turn, you see right there, they start wrecking. They saved it. They start wrecking again. They save it. And that was a very hard hit for Tim Hoffman. So these 4 drivers, Pablo West, Sahara Rocha, Alexander Rodriguez, and Skylar Rocha, they're out of the race. They're not going to make it to the final segment. But the other drivers that were just involved in that crash, they will. Stay tuned. We will be right back with the final segment here at Charlotte. This is still the Showdown race. We'll see you soon. Welcome back to Charlotte. The final segment getting ready to be underway. Only 13 drivers left. We should have had 17 in this race, but from the last segment, Pablo West, Sahara Rocha, Skylar Rocha, and who else? There was one other driver involved in a crash. Oh yeah, Alexander Rodriguez. So they did not go to a backup car. So we only have 13 left. 10 laps is the distance. Like I said, if we get a caution, caution laps do not count. We will go back, obviously, and show you replays of cautions, and then we'll have to reset the field. So it'll be interesting how that works. Now, I'm not able to line the cars up by their restarting position, or by like their position during the caution, so it'll be kind of random. But if there's a car that wrecks and is out of the race, we have to back out of this race, take that car out of the roster, and then restart. It will be double file restarts. So here we go. It should be very interesting. Cars did go to, there was a lot of cars that went to backup cars. So Ron Jackson out front, the 52 Robert Pollard second, Tim Hoffman a 3, he is in a backup car. The 77 Steve Pollard starting 4th. 5th Lindsay Hancock, she is in a backup car. Actually, she just got her car repaired. She is not in a backup. The 18 Bean Weeby, he was able to get his car repaired. Not a lot of damage there. The 4 of Zach Cronin. The 00 of Alex Alves, he has a backup car. The 51 Jeremiah Dwayne, he repaired his car. The 54 Evan McCollum starts beside Jeremiah. 24 Stephen Pollard III repaired his car. The 9 of Brendan Hancock, and the 19 Dylan Eberheimen rounding out the field. So, what we did with the backup car drivers, we went ahead and reduced the car ratings by 5. Now, if you just repaired your car, if it wasn't too bad, like the 18, the 31, the 24, then your car ratings are decreased by 2. So it's not a huge difference, but it is a little different than everyone else. The car ratings for the Showdown and the All-Star race are 85 for the minimum and 100 for the maximum. So if you have a backup car, you are at 80 and 95. 80 and 95. If you had your car just repaired, you're at 83 for the minimum and 98 for the maximum. So it's not a huge difference, but we will see how this 10-lap segment works. Will we have cautions like we did on the last race? Last segment, we had 3 crashes. Just a 10-lap shootout now, and I think it's going to get pretty wild, pretty crazy. Ron Jackson leading this field to the start of segment number 3. The first 2 segments, the top 3, would advance to the All-Star race this Saturday. The winner of this race will advance, and that is it. So you want to definitely win this race. Second place on back, you don't make it in, unfortunately. So the 8 of Ron Jackson going to lead the field to the green. Robert Pollard right beside him in second place. Tim Hoffman, Steve Pollard on the second row. Green flag in the air. We're underway for the final segment of the All-Star Showdown race. 10 laps the distance. The winner advances to the final race, or to the All-Star race. Ron Jackson, the 8, he got a huge start. But Tim Hoffman right below him. I thought they were going to make some contact. Tim now side by side with second place. They're 2 wide. No one's 3 wide yet. Robert Pollard all the way up the track, almost into the wall. Oh, Steve Pollard bouncing off of Robert. Steve almost spins Robert out in the middle of the field. That could have taken out a lot of drivers. 3 wide here. Alex Alves now trying to get past the 18 of Bean Weeby. 3, almost 4 wide now on the back stretch. Tim Hoffman battling with Ron Jackson for the lead. Back here, they're racing like crazy. Stephen Pollard the third. Oh, Steve Pollard, the 77 into the wall. He has a little bit of damage, and that slowed a lot of drivers back here down. Lap number 3 out of 10 already. Up front, Jeremiah Dwayne getting second place away from the 4 of Zach Cronin. I think the 77 was back in the wall again. A little more calm start than the second segment. Jeremiah Dwayne up to second place. Tim Hoffman is still the race leader. Behind him, Zach Cronin pretty close to the wall. I don't think he hit it. Stephen Pollard making his way, trying to take third place away. Now remember, it's only the winner advancing. Bean Wiebe, he is trying to get past Steve Pollard. He finally gets past him. Now will we have a crash up near the front of this field? Look at Brendan Hancock below the 54, Evan McCollum. Trying to take the position away. Oh, Jeremiah Dwayne into the back of Tim Hoffman, but they do not wreck. 6 laps to go. Stephen Pollard the third out front here at Charlotte. They are racing really aggressively here, 3 wide on the backstretch. Alex Alves, the 00, in a backup car trying to get to the front. 4 wide now in turns 3 and 4. Evan McCollum has to check up a little bit. Jeremiah Dwayne, Dylan Eberheim, and they almost got together. Oh. These cars are racing like it's the last lap. 5 more laps to go. Bean Wiebe, the 18, he has made his way to this front pack. 77, Steve Pollard hit the wall a few laps ago, and he is falling back. 2 and 3 wide for the lead. 19, Dylan Eberheim falling back. Stephen Pollard, Evan McCollum, they're racing really close to each other. Tim Hoffman out front here at Charlotte. Just a few more laps to go. Whoop. Battle for the lead, 3 wide for the lead. Evan McCollum on the inside, Jeremiah Dwayne in the middle, Tim Hoffman up top. We saw a few crashes off of turn 4 in the second segment. They're racing really close. Look at the 18, Bean Wiebe. He's trying to get past cars. He's past Lindsay and Ron. Trying to get past Zach Cronin and the 9 of Brendan Hancock. He will do that. He washes up the track a little bit. Oh, Lindsay gets hit by Ron. They do not crash. They are racing aggressively up near the front and in the back, everywhere. Stephen Pollard trying to get past Evan McCollum. Jeremiah Dwayne falls back. This 00, Alex Alves, he's in the wall. He is going to fall back. He is now out of contention. 2 laps to go here at Charlotte. If we have a crash, the caution flag, and the caution comes out, we will have a restart, even if it is on the last lap. But if they make it into turn 4, the race is official. Out of turn 4 coming to the checkered, the race would be over. Dylan Eberheim in the 19, he has the lead right now. Jeremiah Dwayne falling back. Here comes the 18 of Bean Wiebe. 4 cars, though, breaking away from Bean. Dylan Eberheim and Evan McCollum. Tim Hoffman, Stephen Pollard. Who was going to get it? It's the white flag. Tim Hoffman now on the inside. He's going to try to get the lead away from Evan McCollum. Evan might have a good run off the turn. He has got Dylan Eberheim pushing him. Tim Hoffman, though, he is going to get past the 54 Evan McCollum. Oh, they're making a little bit of contact off of the turn. Tim Hoffman will win the final segment. And Tim will advance to the All-Star race. 3 wide, pretty much photo finish for second. If this would have been the first or second segment, that would have been a very close finish for a transfer position. Tim Hoffman, though, he will get the win, and he will advance to the final segment. The 00, Alex Alves, he hit the wall, slowed Lindsay Hancock down a little bit. Ooh, Lindsay, she ran into the back of the 52. I don't think she was too happy with him. See, Robert Pollard, he had damage on his car. Bean Wiebe, a pretty impressive run, 13th to 7th with a backup car. So he had a shot at winning, but Tim Hoffman is going to make it to the All-Star race this Saturday. You see the results there. Photo finish for second. That was a crazy race. Thought we were going to see some crashes. There was almost a couple. Go back and show you the finish for second place. I mean, that was a Well, first, coming off the turn, the 19, the 54, and the 24, they all made contact. And look at that. The 54, Evan McCollum, got second. So a photo finish for second place. That is about as close as you can get. Look at that. And Tim Hoffman is your winner. Well, it's been a fun night of racing with you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Segment 1, pretty calm. Segment 2 was crazy. Segment 3 was pretty good racing. And the top 11 drivers finished within a second. So with the 3 segments finished, the drivers that advanced to the All-Star race after their races tonight: Nancy Pryor, Muhammad Abdullah, Tavis Haken, Logan York, Alvin Jones, Matt Riddle, and Tim Hoffman. So those 7 drivers will make it into the All-Star race. They will join Sam Oskin, Bruce Zero, Hunter Blade, Jacob Britt, Damian Singletary, Ryan Benjamin, Axel Zero, Benjamin Wallace, Cody Rhodes, Tyrell Resner, Yo Carrillo, Callie Hancock, John Book, Laura Lee Wiebe, April Pryor, Logan Gentry, and Austin Johnson. All of those drivers were pole sitters from Season 1 and 2. So they will all be racing this coming Saturday. Should be a fun night of racing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's race. The truck race is Friday night. All-Star race is Saturday night. So until then, we will see you guys later. Have a great night. Thank you all for watching.